Well, hello everyone. So this is day 2 on the hunt for Lock 31. This is the remnants of the Union Canal, and it runs, right now I'm located at a park in Hummelstown. The park starts with the letter S. It's a weird name and I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to bother saying it, but y'all will be able to figure that out, what it's called. This is, again, like I said, this is the remnants of the Union Canal, which ran from Reading to Middletown. And of course, there were several locks along the way. Right now, I am standing under the 322 bridge in the park. And this is just a vantage point here of the canal. The ice is starting to melt everywhere. It's starting to get muddy, but I have a better idea of where the lock is. Today I am going to try and find it, and hopefully I will be successful. I went back and did a little more research, and you would think in the wintertime it would be much easier to find, but that is not the case. It is still not that easy. So wish me luck, guys. As soon as I venture that way, I will be putting up a little video so y'all can see, and hopefully I'll find it. So guys, as I'm walking the trail, walking in the direction of Middletown to the other end of the trail, and I noticed looking to my left, that's on the opposite side of where the sewage plant is, up on the hill on the right. I see a raised area here and then kind of a lower lying area, and it's hard to tell from the video, but it looks very much like this was part of the canal as well. And if I walk along the trail here, you can see that where the fencing is up on the hill there is where the sewage plant is. And it looks like that's a very low-lying area down in through there, and you can follow it for a little while, and then you can see the hump there, and then on the other side of that raised area is the Swatara Creek. So that looks like it was part of the canal on this side, and when they came in with the sewer plant, they totally messed everything up. And it looks like, you know, it's really hard to tell now because they came in with fill in certain areas and it's hard to see where the canal went. But with a little bit of research, I might be able to find out where the canal used to go and where it wound through back in the day. So we'll see. But I'm going to head to the other end and keep doing my walk, and then I'm going to go explore and find that Lock 31. So as I'm following the trail and walking back toward where the railroad bridge is that goes over the Swatara, you can see here that this area got moved around and filled in because of the sewer plant, and it got totally changed around and moved around. But this was probably an area that was still part of the canal at one time. But you can definitely see remnants of it here and there along the trail. So here along the trail, as I'm still continuing to go toward the railroad bridge that goes over the Swatara Creek, you can clearly see remnants of the canal here. And what it did actually is, down further, as I walk closer to the area where you can launch the kayaks and canoes and get to that end of the park, it kind of disappears because there's a lot of fill, and the earth got moved around a lot for various reasons at that end of the park. But then it crossed over the pathway that's here today at one point, and it actually, that's where the lock comes into play. It went up a grade and then into the lock, which was Lock 31, and then it went over the creek that was over there, and then it was an aqueduct actually, and then it kept going from there. So that's I believe how it flowed through this area here and through the park. But it totally disappears at part of the park. You can't tell where it was anymore at this point. Okay, I'm going to keep walking that way and get closer to where I think the lock is. So just a little tidbit of information. This is definitely not what you want to see when canal hunting. That means the lay of the land has been completely changed, and it will be very difficult to find exactly what you're looking for and where the canal might have been. Things have been moved around, earth has been moved, and there's just no way to know unless you go back and do some research and find old maps. But we're going to keep going on the path here. So here I am at the spot where this is a big open area, and right directly in front of me is where the creek is that goes into the Swatera. I think if I walk forward and go to the left, there's a path there. I didn't have time yesterday. I ran out because it was getting dark, and it was starting to get pretty cold too. So I'm gonna walk through here. I'm pretty sure there's a path over here to the left, and I have to go all the way. It looks like I'm going toward houses, and I believe there's a very high raised area on the left side of the path. And I believe it's right up on that hill, on the top of that raised area is where the lock actually is. So I'm gonna walk in here a little bit and see what we see. So this raised area is where I think the lock may be. And over here, it's completely overgrown with all kinds of briars and jaggers and thorns. So I think I'm gonna have to go in along over here. It's a little bit more open, and go up on that berm and see if I can work my way over to where the lock is. Okay, here we go. It's very lumpy here too, so gotta go kind of slow because I certainly don't want to tweak my... Actually, I might go in this way. I know there's some briars here, but... Or I could go this way. Let's go this way. Looks like there's less briars. I did get pricked a little bit yesterday on my finger and thumb, and it was sore today, so. And I'm just stepping over some logs, all kinds of, oh, very muddy, very muddy. I know, I'm silly, right? Who cares about a little mud when we're lock hunting? All right, I'm trying to decide which way I want to go to get up on the berm. I may have to come up this way. I'm going to try to climb up, so I'm going to stop the video here till I get up to the top and see what I can find out. As I'm looking at which way to go up on this berm here, I noticed, I'm going to zoom in, that looks like stonework with moss all over it. I think we may have found it. Okay guys, the moment of truth is coming. Here we go. Oh my God, it is right here. This is it. All I had to do was walk up that little hill, the little berm area, and it is all right here. I cannot believe I found it. This is awesome. Now I just got to figure out a better way to get closer to it because there are jaggers everywhere. So I'm gonna find a way to get in so I can get right up to it, and then I'll film some more for you guys. Super excited. So just a thought, guys. I thought rail fanning was tough, you know, sitting in the car or setting up my tripod, waiting for the train to come, twiddling my thumbs, oh, taking a break and going to lunch, maybe doing some antiquing afterwards. That was nothing compared to this. This is really hard trying to find this stuff in the woods with jaggers and briars everywhere, but I think I'll survive, right? It's worth it. So, I cannot tell you how excited I am right now. This is awesome. I finally found it. Mission accomplished. This has been here since mid-1880s, and it is still in great shape. I mean, look at it. The moss covered stones, they're all chiseled, and oh wow, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and you would never know that it's here. It is just up on a berm, and you can't see from the trail. So if I go there, you can see that's the railroad bridge there. It goes across the Swatara Creek, and there's the field area where the trail is for the park. And it's just a short little hike into the wooded area at this end of the trail. It is beautiful. And there's all kinds of glass bottles and jars everywhere. I see remnants of, I don't know how old this stuff is. Who knows? Some of it might be old, some of it might not be old. But there's all kinds of stuff in here. And maybe, probably at one point you had local kids hanging out. This would be a spot to hang out, I would think. At least when I was a teenager, I would do something like that, totally. But it is absolutely beautiful. I am so excited that I found it. This is awesome. It was totally worth it. It took me 2 days or a day and a half, but I found it. And it's so close to everything. You'd never know it was here. What the thing is that's a shame is that it's so close to the rest of the park area that is usable. And this area is not usable. And it would be amazing if they could get some kind of grant or funding to clean this area up. My other phone's going off. People must be excited. I'm going to be telling everybody I found Lock 31. Anyway, it would be amazing to be able to get some kind of funding to actually have this be part of the park and clear this area out and show it off in all its beauty and glory that it should be shown off. It's a shame. There should be a plaque here. There should be something that tells the story of the lock and the Union Canal and the whole history of it. But it is what it is, and I'm letting all of y'all know, and whoever, if you're ever in this area, this is where you want to go to find Lock 31 off the Union Canal, Hummelstown, PA. It's so cool. I just cannot believe. I'm going to try and maybe walk the other end of it to get another vantage point. There is a huge tree that's across the whole lock there that had fallen down. But I think this is probably going to be the best vantage point. You can just see how wide it is, and the stones right here that I'm standing on. And it looks like that's down at that end where it indents there, might be where the lock mechanism was. And you can see all the moss on the stones. And this way it's totally getting filled in. You can see it's the dirt and debris is just filling some of it in there. But thank God they didn't fill this whole thing in and bury it. I mean, it's just still here and it's beautiful. So here you can see They did fill in this area. It was a dumping area, and there's a lot of debris here. There's a lot of glass, and there was a ceramic plate over there. It's hard to see with all the leaves and stuff, but right there you can see there's a piece of ceramic something, and that looks like metal almost, the metal. But there's a lot of debris and junk laying around. There's a plastic container. It looks like it might have been a plant container. Just stuff like that all in through here. There's more bottles. There's a glass bottle right there. And metal, all kinds of stuff. So I'm working my way on to the other side of the lock, and you can see it here very clearly. Okay guys, so here I am on the other side of the lock, and as you can see, it's a great vantage point. You can see the railroad bridge there going over the Swatara Creek, and it's looking quite ominous looking down on this lock system and the Union Canal, which is quite ironic because that's what the demise of the whole canal and lock system was. When the railroad came in, the canal system was done for. It had seen its last days, and it's quite interesting that now it goes over. And to some of my engineer friends out there, my question is, when you go over the railroad bridge, which used to be Tara, do you see the lock in the wintertime with all the foliage gone? Can you actually see it from the bridge? I'd be very interested to know that, because it's hidden from everything else, really. And then down at the end here, where that indentation is, I can show you, as I showed you on the other side of it, I believe that's where the doors were, the locking mechanism to let the boats in and out, and the water going up and down. Very interesting. So this is just the coolest thing ever, that there's this much of the lock that is still very much intact. Very cool. So here I am at the other end, and this is the best shot I can get from here. You can see the locking mechanism. You can see where the doors were. That space that goes in there, that indentation. I know there's trees around, but at least you can see it. If there was foliage, you wouldn't be able to see it at all. But if I zoom way in, you can see how it was used. It's amazing that it's all still there. That's really cool. And then that's the end of the lock right there. And then right over that way is the bridge and the creek. And then there's a tree that goes across over it, but this is the other end of the lock here. Very cool. So what I'm going to probably do is try to find lock 32 and lock 33 as well, and do some video of both of those in the coming future, and see what I can find. Hopefully there are some remains of both. All right, guys, have a great day. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me, this little adventure. It certainly was an adventure finding this one, but it was totally worth it. Have a great day.